welcome back to the channel. This is your host, Christopher Corey with Shadows Techland. So I wanted to go over a little bit more on what virtual machines I'm using, because I've had Proxmox set up for a couple weeks now and definitely had time to go through and install quite a few things. I do have quite a few VMs installed, but obviously not all of them are production. Some of them are still in evaluation to see if they do meet my needs, or I just haven't gotten back to them. So without that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at a few things. So of course the first one I'm using is Windows 10, which is a Windows 10 Pro 2004 with Spiceworks and Windows Admin Center set up. Really haven't gotten too far into Windows Admin Center. It's definitely an interesting tool, I just haven't gone through and played with it much. Spiceworks is kind of the same thing. I haven't gone through and done a lot with it yet. They do have a lot of cool monitoring and asset tools that you can use. They also do have a help desk tool if you wanted to get experience with like a ticketing system, if that's something you're trying to get into as a job and kind of want to set up your own tickets for like helping friends and family member, things of that nature. It's definitely a good way to get some experience. I do have Windows Server 2012 R2 set up. That is a basically placeholder. I haven't kind of decided what I want to do with it as of yet. And then I've got an Ubuntu set up with Pi-hole, which I've already done a couple of videos on Pi-hole. If you wanted to go through and get more information on that, you can definitely look at my previous videos. I have Kane installed because it's something I definitely want to go through and do some videos on. That is a computer forensics and data forensics tool that you can use. Definitely something very interesting. I'm probably going to go back through and do something more with that later. Alien Vault is definitely very, very interesting. It's a OSSIM real-time monitoring threat assessment tool that you can use. It's definitely something really cool, and it's free. I definitely highly recommend taking a look at it. And then of course Bookstack, which is my backup wiki that I have on my Unraid server, which is my primary. This is just my backup in case that goes down, I still have access to it. Same thing with Pwigio. That is a photo management software that I've been running on my Unraid server. If you want more information on that, I've already done a previous video on that. You can definitely take a look at it. I do have Android installed. It's something that I kind of will play with every once in a while, but most of the time it's off. It's not production. Kali is a basically ethical hacking distribution you can use for like penetration testing, password cracking, things of that nature. I haven't decided to go down that rabbit hole as of yet. That's something I'll definitely probably be going back to and doing some more videos on and some more learning on later. And then I have Server 2019 set up with a VM Community Free Edition, which allows up to 10 VMs to be backed up. That's something that I do have installed, but I haven't really sat down and decided how it is I want to use and configure as of yet. I definitely need to come back to that. I've heard a lot about Observian, and that is another infrastructure device network monitoring tool. I've installed it, but I haven't gone through and done any configuration on it as of yet. FreeNAS I'm installing virtually, and I'm going to use it more production, but not as of yet. I'm waiting for some hard drives. Once I upgrade a machine I have off-site and get some drives from that, I'll be installing that and then passing an HBA with those drives in. That way I can actually get some storage on the FreeNAS to play with it properly. I have PixieBoot installed, but I haven't done a lot of configuration with it yet, just because that's not really high priority on my list as of yet. And then I've got CheckMK, which is another infrastructure network device monitoring tool installed. Literally just installed it today, so I haven't really done a lot with it yet. That's something I'm going to be going back through and doing some more evaluation on in the future. As of the last couple days, I've finally got Security Onion installed, which is a tool used to where it sets up Snort for IDS and IPS intrusion detection and intrusion prevention system. I will be doing a video on that in the future. I do have Splunk set up, which is another network. Basically, it's an enterprise level infrastructure monitoring open source tool. It's something I want to go through and do some learning on later. I probably will come back to that at some point in time. Then I do have a Windows 10 Plex server, which is a secondary Plex server setup, which I do not share with friends or family member. It is for local purposes only. I do have that set up. I've heard a lot about Libra NMS, which is another network enterprise level infrastructure monitoring tool that a lot of people in the home lab community definitely say a lot about. I haven't installed, I've looked at it, but I haven't done any configuration on it yet because I need to learn a lot more about these tools and SMP traps and things of that nature, so it's definitely going to be a project for learning later. Proxmox themselves, they have put out a beta, and I do want to iterate, it is a beta software, but it is a backup server that you can use to basically back up your Proxmox host, so if you have more than one possibly, or just one itself. Now, personally myself, now this is just my own opinion, I find Proxmox Web GUI for backup and restore really easy. I've already done a video on that if you want to take a look at that process. Now, the Proxmox backup server that you can go ahead and use, it does give you a little bit more control and more graphing and monitoring and stats of that nature. If that's something you need, you can definitely take a look at it. It is available on the website. OpsView is another network infrastructure tool that I've used in the past when I had a Hyper-V server. They do have an appliance. Unfortunately, they've changed their business model. I don't know as of when, but they've made it practically impossible to get a free license. It's a pain in the ass now. If you want to go ahead and get a free license, you can definitely sign up and request one, but then they send you an email with this big old long questionnaire. Why are you trying to use our product? And there's like 20 questions you need to ask, but I digress on that. That's just a really minor, well, actually a huge inconvenience and pain in my ass, so not sure if I'm going to pursue that any further because that's just not worth my time if they're going to make it that much of a hassle. And then I am using another Ubuntu VM. I chose Ubuntu because it's my personal preference and it's something that I'm more familiar with. You can use your own Linux distribution that you're more familiar with. Linux, Red Hat, Fedora, etc. There's lots of different ones out there. It's basically whatever you're familiar with. But yes, Proxmox does have its own container-based system, but I wanted to learn Docker more, so I went ahead and set up a Ubuntu VM. I'm using 20.04 for all of my Ubuntu VMs just because it's the newest, and like I said, it's what I'm familiar with. So I have Docker set up so I can get containers, and then I have Portainer set up, which is a web GUI that you can use in order to get in and basically set up containers using templates or using the web GUI to where you don't have to go through and do command line. Unless that's something that you're familiar with, then by all means go for it. And then of course Rancher as well, which is it's installed. I haven't gotten too far in learning that yet. And then I'm using Nessus, which is another real-time basically security, network security and intrusion detection system. It can monitor for vulnerabilities, malware, all sorts of cool things. Now, Nessus, the free edition, you can get up to 16 IP addresses that you can go ahead and assign under that particular license to monitor. If you need more than that, obviously you can go through and you can request another license using another email address to be able to meet your needs of whatever it is that you need to monitor and set up. Now, I will be doing future videos on some of these to go into them more in depth, so definitely keep an eye out for those videos. I have installed Sophos, which is another UTM. So basically that is a software firewall, router, IDS, IPS, and antivirus solution all in one. I'm kind of playing around with it. I haven't really gotten too far into it yet. And then of course I set up a Windows 10 template, so because I got tired of installing Windows 10 20,000 times. So that's set up basically as a template. So I can clone it as a full clone, so it's not linked to the template, so that template doesn't have to be on. So it's a whole entire Windows template that's installed, and it has Windows activated, all that good stuff. The only thing I have to go through and change if I want to use that template after I start it is the host name. That way I don't have duplicate host names and I don't run into DNS issues. I can go ahead and install, test whatever software I want. If I decide to use it, great. If not, I kill it and go on your merry way, and you start the next one, and so forth and so forth. Kind of a short video. I didn't really go into any depth. I just wanted to go ahead and share what it is that I'm running at this point in time. I will, like I said, be definitely doing future videos on some of the other software and what I've been using. If you guys have any other further questions, definitely feel free to reach out to me in the description and the comment section, or definitely go ahead and hit me up on my social media. Other than that, thanks and have a good day, guys.